REED-BBS, BBS, Blackbird Sugar, Bachelor's in Boxing Studies, Televisión, Fred Sanford of the Fistic Arts, and still WBC IBF welterweight champion of the world, the truth, Errol Spence Jr. Yeah, EJ. Hold on. Yeah, EJ. This was my tune-up. And so it was. Unanimous decision win over Danny Garcia in front of a socially distanced crowd of over 16,000 in the home of America's team. America's team, yours, and mine, our Dallas Cowboys. It's like this, man. Strong start from EJ. Strong start from Errol Spence. He already had a 3.5 inch reach advantage coming into the fight. And with that, he was pressuring Danny Garcia behind southpaw jabs, not just early, but throughout the fight. Now, early, he was throwing left-hand bombs at Danny. He was trying to take his head off, trying to make a statement very early. He was aggressive out of the gate for sure. The jab controlled Danny all night by his own admission. In the immediate interview with Caleb Plant's wife, fantastic job by her, by the way. Danny was like, yeah, man, I couldn't get past that jab. Even in the post-fight interview, that was the post-fight interview, but I meant to say the post-fight press conference. He said the same thing, like, yeah, man, he had the length, the range, he had the timing of it, he knew when to use it, I just couldn't get past his jab. And that was what it was. Here's the thing coming into the fight, particularly post-accident. The whole fight itself centered around, can Spence take a shot? Has he been, because he was concussed, the car flipped, etc., he was thrown out of it, knocked unconscious. Can he still take a punch? Because you hear people after concussions, it's easier and easier to sustain another one and another one and another one. Well, we saw EJ get hit. We saw Errol Spence take shots this fight, and he was none the worse for wear. At the end of round 2, Danny landed a left hook after the bell. And, Spence looked at him like, wow, bro, you hit me late. But then what I love is walking back to his corner, Spence wiped his chin off with his glove. It was like, it was like the moment calling, whoa, I got hit late. Now, it wasn't Danny's best shot, but it was his best punch. It was his left hook that he's famous for. He didn't land it probably like he wanted to, but he still landed it. And it was like, okay, y'all wanted to see me get hit. I got hit, unsuspecting, bell, after the bell. So, yeah, when Spence wiped his chin off, it was dope. It was dope, dog. It was dope. So, obviously, even I was leery of this fight. I was one of the tune-up, take a tune-up type dudes. I was in the tune-up camp tune-up. I'm glad he didn't. He knew better than I did for sure. But with that said, even coming into the fight, and Spence even acknowledged this, I understand why people who aren't necessarily inside seeing me every day have these questions. And we all knew there would be a physical toll from the accident, but we all thought it would be in his punch resistance. Oh, it's gonna take less of a shot, less force, less blunt force trauma to stagger him or compromise him in such a way. That wasn't the case. The physical toll ended up being on Spence's cardio, because he'd been out the ring 14 months, etc., in terms of a pro fight. That was the physical toll. And we saw that. He admitted fatigue and ring rust in the post-fight interview. And from rounds 9, 10-ish, maybe a little bit delving into 11 earlier, you could see the toll that it paid physically on him. He just had to regroup, and we haven't seen that from Spence on a championship level ever. But given the situation, that was the aha moment. We was thinking Danny would wobble him with a shot that Spence would have eaten 2 years ago. No, it was the cardio. We'd never seen EJ tired before. He got tired in a fight. Moving on real quick, Danny. All respect for Danny Garcia. Fanboys, don't take this shit the wrong way. Like, you know, I'm not even coming with that type of energy, so spare me your bullshit. But Danny Garcia is from Philadelphia. He is not the quote-unquote Philly fighter. He just isn't. Danny's more of a lucky lick fighter. He wants to sit back. He wants you to do all the work. He wants to draw you in, and he wants to counter you with some hard shit. A Philly fighter, when shit ain't going his way, a Philly fighter, he has a level of, here's the thing, Danny has a level of caution. Here's what I'm trying to say. There's more caution and resistance to Danny. There's like a hold back, like, hold up, wait. Like, Danny will think that in his head. You like Nate Dogg singing in his fucking head or some shit. That's how Danny is. And Philly fighters, to the letter of that law, in that fucking city, they aren't like that. Philly fighters will go to plan B and C and D and E in an effort to win a fight. Danny Garcia didn't seem willing to do that. He didn't seem willing to do that tonight. He didn't seem willing to do that in his first loss, which was against Keith Thurman, nor did he seem willing to do that in his second loss, which was against Sean Porter. So 0-3 in the 3 biggest fights of your damn career, and you lost similarly all 3 times. In his post-fight interview, Danny said the difference between Porter and Thurman and Spence is that Spence is physically stronger and has a better jab. So Danny, I don't know what's next for him. It's all about Errol Spence right now, EJ. Again, congrats, EJ. He said he wants to fight again by summer 2021. The obvious opponents, Terrence Bud Crawford, who was in attendance and booed lustily. Boo! Between some rounds, they show, I forget what rounds, but they put Bud on the Jumbotron. And the crowd went crazy. Boo! And Bud actually has people. He's got family in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. But it's obviously Errol Spence's town, you know. So Bud Crawford, that's the opponent we all want to see. Manny Pacquiao still out there. There's the Canelo Alvarez talk, which, you know, 2 weight classes, and you got your homies, the Charlo or Jamal Charlo for sure up there. That doesn't seem very likely to me, but who knows? They'd sell out Cowboy Stadium, Jerry will. They'd have 100,000 people up in that motherfucker for that fight. 2 weight classes be damned. That wouldn't even matter. There's also, I don't want to see it, not now, but there's the possibility if none of those fights works out, the Bud, the Manny, the Canelo, rematch with Sean Porter, or worst case scenario, Keith Once Upon a Time Thurman. You know, but obviously Bud Crawford, Manny Pacquiao, that's the route. That's the realistic route we're looking for as boxing fans. And, you know, we'll keep you up to speed, up to date on what's next in that realm. But yeah, good night, Dallas, Texas. Stand up. Stand up. Errol Spence was the man. Errol Spence still is the man. Welcome back, EJ. REED-BBS. BBS. Blackbird Sugar. Bachelor's in Boxing Studies. Televisión. Fred Sanford of the Fistic Arts. When all is said and done, there's nothing left to say or do.